love and be loved. I know sometimes you think you're just not strong enough. You were made to know and be known. You've got a story to tell. It's all
Hello. Thanks for joining me today. This is the Woolly Jenny Podcast, episode 5. The format today might look a little different. I'm using a different app to record and everything is flipped. So I'm not sure if when I go to post this, it will be flipped. So if everything looks like I'm in a mirror today, it's actually maybe that you're not seeing me in a mirror, whereas you have seen me in a mirror before. Something. Anyways, who am I? I'm Jen. This is my podcast, the Woolly Jenny Podcast, and I like to talk about knitting and my life, and sometimes crocheting or spinning or sewing or other things, although today it's pretty much just strictly knitting. I'm determined to get some of these projects done that I haven't finished for far too long now. So you can find me on Instagram as @WoollyJenny, and you can find the show notes for this episode and all the other episodes and information and good fun and chatter and knit-alongs and etc. in my Ravelry group, which is the Woolly Jenny Podcast when you search under the groups tab, and I'll link all of that in the description box below. Description box. Why is it called a down bar? Can someone explain that to me? Because a lot of podcasters, it seems like, also podcasters, let's talk about that too. I don't understand the terms that we use. What is a down bar? And why is it called a down bar? I'm sure I could solve that answer with a simple Google search, but I haven't bothered. So why is it a down bar? It's a description box. Or is it a down bar? I don't know, but I'm calling it a description box. And podcast is audio, but somehow all of these knitting videos have become podcasts, and we call ourselves podcasters. Is it because videocast is a weird word that maybe exists or doesn't exist? I don't actually know. But this is what I do. And so if you're not a knitter and you stumble upon this and you're like, why is she calling that a podcast? She's a complete idiot. This is just how we roll. You can just go with it. Yeah, so filler words because stuff. What have I been up to? Let's chat. Except not, because I'm just talking to a video right now. I think I'm in a sassy mood. I can't quite tell. This is not going well so far. I might edit this out. I don't know. This month has been kind of a whirlwind. As every other month, I'm sure I've said, oh, it's been a crazy busy month. This is just my life. So expect that every time. I'm not sure there will ever be a month where I'm like, oh, I have barely done anything at all this month. It's just been so quiet and I've done nothing with my life. That probably will never happen. I'm drinking coffee from my Chiang Mai You Are Here mug. It's the old style of Starbucks mugs that are often found overseas, and it's pretty cool. My brother brought it back for me when he visited Chiang Mai last year, and he's headed back there in a few weeks, so I'm drinking to my brother. So, chatter, yeah. If you follow me on Instagram, sorry, no clapping. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that we had a really fun weekend. My daughter and I, we went on a little girls' road trip to Calgary. Rachel is her name. She is 11. She'll be 12 on Boxing Day. And she is participating in Sarah McLachlan's not-for-profit organization called the Sarah School of Music. And what she does is she teaches music skills to students at underprivileged schools. And so My daughter is going to a really, really awesome school this year, but it's considered sort of an underprivileged area. And so the School of Music is in her school. And she gets to go after school for a couple of hours, and they feed her a snack. And the way that the teacher described it is that it's not a technical music academy, but rather it's exploring music for enjoyment and enrichment of life, which is definitely the way that Rachel approaches music. When she was little, I have my grade 8 Royal Conservatory certificate for piano. Don't fawn over that, because I'm a terrible piano player and I never practiced, and I got that by the skin of my teeth. And I really can't do, my daughter is a way better piano player than me, and she's never taken a lesson in her life. So when she was little, I would just show her sort of a melody that she recognized or knew on the piano, and I would hold her finger and tap it out, and then she would, copycat. And as she got older, she would figure out more of it on her own, and then she began to add left-hand chords to it and stuff, and she's really just grown from there. So she doesn't read music. She's never really been formally trained or taught. She just has this really amazing gift from God to be able to play like that. So she was excited about the School of Music and started going, and so she's doing some vocal training there, and as well as there's percussion and drums, and I think piano instruction as well, or piano fun, and ukulele, and anyways, it's a really well-rounded program, and it's amazing because it's free, and music education of any type can be super expensive, so it's a really neat opportunity that she has to go. That was a long back history, but so what happened was she's been going for about 2 weeks, and Sarah McLachlan was inducted into the Canada Music Hall of Fame this spring at the Juno Awards, and so this past weekend was her plaque ceremony where she gets to put her name up on the wall. And she wanted to showcase her School of Music, and since she doesn't have a school in Calgary, Edmonton was the closest spot, and Rachel's teacher thought that Rachel was the only one from the school that would be sort of able to hold her own to perform in such a way, in such a venue. So that was a really huge honor and really exciting for Rachel. She loves to perform. She'll happily just, if you saw my Instagram story, she'll just start singing. And that's pretty cool because it takes a lot of guts to do that. And I just, yeah. Oh, she's amazing. Yeah, we got to go to Calgary, and the ceremony was at the National Music Center. It's also called Studio Bell in downtown Calgary, and they have this beautiful museum, and then across the street, attached by a pedway, they have also recording studios, and my camera looks to me like it's skipping, so I don't know if it's actually doing that in the recording. I'm just going to turn it off and then come back and continue talking because I want to play that back and see if it's actually doing that. I'm not entirely sure why it's skipping like that, so we'll try again and see how it goes. And I don't know if I need to, maybe I'll switch back to the other app and then you'll get the flip of me and whatever. Anyways, so I was talking about School of Music. So Studio Bell, studios across the street, museum, Hall of Fame gallery. So there was a private event that Rachel and I were invited to where Sarah was just meeting people and whatever. And so, ta-da! So Rachel got to meet Sarah, and she was super sweet. She came over and gave Rachel a big hug, and yeah, she just was really excited to meet Rachel and really made her feel at ease. She talked about how she was nervous to make a speech. She doesn't really like giving speeches. She'd rather be performing, and she was looking forward to hearing Rachel play, and it was really sweet. So we got to visit with her for a few minutes, and yeah, and then she had her plaque ceremony, and then this beautiful, they call it the Cloud Gallery, and it's sort of this area on the 5th floor, and it has this incredible tile wall behind it, but it's actually open to the 1st floor. So there's this big cavern it just was an incredible experience. This beautiful grand piano, and they had her all set up, and just Sarah, when she gave her speech, asked people to stay and listen to Rachel and just celebrate kids doing music, which I thought was really it was surreal. It was a surreal experience. So after Rachel performed, we got to go over and look at the different recording studios that they have there, which are super fancy, super expensive recording studios. So that was cool. I don't know that we'd ever have an opportunity to see that kind of thing another time. So, and got to see things like David Foster's grand piano, which has signatures all inside it of all these other different famous musicians. And yeah, it was a really cool experience. So maybe at the end of the podcast, I'll insert a video. If you want to watch to the end, I'll insert a video of Rachel's performance or clips of it or something. I'll figure that out. If you're curious, if you're curious about hearing her performance and seeing some of the photos from that, if you missed it on Instagram, I'll put it at the end. I've also been doing a lot of knitting. I'm trying to actually have finished objects to show you guys after realizing the last episode that I haven't had finished objects like basically since the inception of this podcast, which is pretty pathetic since this is episode 5, so that means I've been doing it for 5 months. Not good at all. So I did finish one thing, but everything else is like will be done for next month, I think. I got a flat tire this month, which was really fun, and since I had another tire that was on the way out and the tires were just kind of done, we had to replace those. So Knit City happened, and I was feeling glad that I didn't make the choice to go, because that would have been a lot of output financially with having to buy new tires all of a sudden and going to Knit City. But I was really enjoying seeing everybody's pictures and kind of following along the journey with Instagram people that were there. And some of my favorite people, the Knox Mountain Knit Company girls, had a booth there, and I was so appreciative that they sent me their little exclusive kit that they had made with Gauge Dye Works, and I'll show that in my Yarn Babies section. So it made me feel special and happy that I got to be a part of it, even though I wasn't actually there. We had Thanksgiving, and turkey and pie were consumed, and it was lovely, and we've been doing a lot of hockey. My son Silas is 9, he plays hockey as a goalie, and they've had 4 games now, and their team's doing pretty well. They've won 3 and lost 1, so that's exciting. And next weekend is my niece's birthday party, so I'm going back to Calgary again, and I was so happy that my sister-in-law planned her party at the same time as the Shindig. So the Calgary Fiber Shindig is happening next weekend in Calgary. There's going to be a ton of awesome indie local dyers down there selling the goods, and so I am going to go and try to restrain myself, because I'm also going back the November 3rd weekend, which is my birthday, and I'm doing a Diana Twist class. Hi, Diana. And I'm excited to go and do that. And so I'm trying to not spend too much at the Shindig so I can save money for that as well. So lots of yarny. Oh, and Stash, of course, is in Calgary. So I went there because it was like a 5-minute drive or less from Studio Bell, where Rachel and I were this weekend. But I was so on like this high from the performance and everything, and seeing that building, that I just couldn't even think about yarn, which is that doesn't happen. So I only walked away with 1 skein, which I'll show later, but I'm gonna go back on a mission for my birthday weekend. Yeah, let's move on to knit along. My knit along has finished, and this was my project that I made. This is the Fair Shawl by Shannon Cook. I'm going to show it off like in full in the FO section, because this is my only FO, and if I show it off now, I will again have nothing to show you for the FO section, and that can't be a thing. So what we did was a knit along for about 6 weeks of any DK or worsted weight shawl, and so many of you played along, and that was so fun. It's fun. It's just fun. So there was about 10 or 11 entries in the FO thread, which was awesome. Some of you even knit 2 things, which is incredible. I don't even know how you did that. Yeah, so I am ready to draw a winner, and I had said that I would go live on Facebook to do that. So let's do it. Takes a second to load. Also have to press the right buttons. Hello, in case anybody cares to join us. I am going to draw for, hi Mel. I am going to draw for the Knit Along giveaway. Random number generator. Hi guys! So let's generate some numbers. So there was 13 posts on the thread. The first one's mine, so that doesn't count. So it's between 2 and 13. However, entry 7 was deleted. So if I draw 7, I'm going to generate all over again. And Mel, if you want to win stuff, you got to get knitting. Just saying. So, okay, here we are, between 2 and 13. Generate. You guys want to see? Generate. What does it say? Number 11. Let's go find out who that is. 11 is MJ! Josie. With your beautiful ramble. I'm so glad you won. That's so cool. She was doing the ramble, which is a brioche herringbone cowl. And it was new for her, so she earned it. Yay, MJ, way to go. Yeah, so she has won this beautiful bag from Creations by Uli, and some stitch markers and progress keepers from Michelle, which is My Whimsy Creations. I'm trying to do this. 2 screens. See? Stitchy things. Here you go, podcast people. And this one with the cute little fox. And look, I even did my nails this week to match. Hello, Foxy. I'll show you guys on the podcast. Eep. So, and I also decided that I would add a skein of one of my newest colors called Autumn, which I think just matches perfectly with this bag. And to be entirely honest, this bag was the inspiration for this yarn. So sorry, podcasty people, I am showing my... So this is called Autumn. This is on the Director's DK base. And it's got some beautiful goldy yellow color and green speckles and red speckles. Ta-da! So congratulations, MJ. I think I already have your address, and I will send that out to you on the ASAP. And thanks for joining in, live people. I'm going to hang up and continue podcasting. All right, my camera's doing that skippy thing again. So, arg. Okay, so I'm back. sorry about that. I'm just going to switch back to the original app that I used to use to record. I like the other one better, but I'll have to figure that out later why it's slowing everything down. So congrats to MJ. I'm so happy for you. Your ramble, you finished it. It was awesome. It's so pretty. Yeah, so I'm going to do a new knit along. We're going to do winter wear. So hats, mitts, scarves, or cowls will be what we'll do. Any weight of yarn will work. Any pattern will work. Any whip will work as long as it's less than 50% done, just because hats and mitts can be pretty quick to whip up. So yeah, less than 50% done whips count. We're going to start it today, and it's going to go until end of November. So you have a long period of time. You could potentially knit 4 or 5 items, and each of those items gets a separate entry, although one mitt doesn't count. It needs to be a set. So mitts, toques, or hats if you're not Canadian, beanie, whatever you call them, scarves, and cowls. And let's have some fun with that. I know what I'm going to be making, and I'll show you that in a little bit. And I think that's, oh, it can be knit or crochet. So I don't know if that would be considered a make along instead of a knit along. But if you're making something crocheted, then it's totally enterable. So I'll have 2 different threads on the Ravelry group. I'll have a thread for chit chat and showing off what you're working on and your yarns and your patterns and all that. And then I'll have a separate thread for finished objects. So in the finished object thread, you're going to post only your finished object with whatever pictures you want to show off. And then it makes it easy for drawing at the end. Finished objects. I did finish one thing, not some stuff. I did finish one thing this month, which is terrible, but yay, I finished it. And I finished it before the deadline, which is also happiness. So this is the Fair Shawl by Shannon Cook. And I had won this pattern from her Ravelry group from a knit along I was doing there, which was super exciting. And when I saw the pattern, I was like, yes, I am knitting that. So I used my own hand-dyed yarn, Boss Lady Yarn Company. This gray is called Nailtex File, and the navy is Kimberly's Night, and it's this big crescent-shaped shawl with just some different patterning and striping, and then the edge detail on the edge is attached at the end vertically, so you're knitting along it this way, which gives you that sideways knit stitch look, which I really love. And blocking it made all the difference with that because it tends to roll in and stuff. So blocking is important, people. Yeah, I'm so happy. And the drape of this yarn, I know I had posted on Instagram. I love it so much. I don't even care that I'm totally bragging, but just the bounce of this yarn, it's 115 grams skeins, and it's 100% superwash merino. And it's just got such a nice drape for a crescent shawl like this. I think I could like pretty much wear this every day. And I pretty much have been since I cast it off and blocked it. And I am thinking of adding, because I tend to wear it like this wrapped around so much, I am thinking of adding, I'll just pull it off and show you, of adding a button here. Might be like a strangulation hazard, but it's got this eyelet edging. And I thought, what if I just add a small button right here? And then because it is long enough to easily go completely around my neck without choking me. That's not a good example because it looks choky, but it really isn't. So I'm thinking of adding that because I tend to just sort of tuck it up under here and it eventually falls down and it seems like I'm constantly adjusting it. So if I just added that button there, then I could just button it up underneath and no one would be the wiser and it would stay in place. And then I could still like wear it across my shoulders if I'm chilly or something and wanting to wear it a different way. It doesn't permanently attach it. So I'm thinking about doing that. Haven't actually done it yet, obviously, but this was a treat. So I used a 6 mil, so this is a DK weight yarn and the pattern calls for worsted. So I just went up a needle size. I used 6mm needles. These are, I believe, Knitter's Pride, and I think they're called Royal, and they're part wood with steel tips. And I actually quite enjoy using these. And the best part about them is that I have the Knit Picks interchangeable set, so it goes with all my cables, everything interchanges together. Interchanges? Maybe that's the right word. Anyways, these are US 10, 6mm, and that's what I used to knit it with so that I could get gauge. I didn't want to end up with a super tiny shawl, being not the right weight yarn, so I did do a gauge swatch a little bit to... I say a little bit because I didn't actually do like a legit gauge swatch where you cast off and you block it and whatever. I just knit a small section and measured and multiplied and called it good. So, and it did. It was fine. It totally turned out good. It is a fairly loose knit. Maybe the original would be a little bit denser because I use 6mm. The pattern calls for 5mm. But I think that adds to that like drapiness that I was talking about, and I absolutely love it. So no regrets. Yeah, the knit was really interesting. The edging nearly killed me, let's be honest. It took forever because you're going all the however many hundreds of stitches there are and going across each row and into that last stitch. So that took a long time, but it was super mindless. I totally had it memorized 2 rows in, and then I just took it with me everywhere I went and sat and did edging and didn't even notice really that I was doing it. So it did take a long time, but it wasn't terribly fiddly or anything. It was easy to memorize and just get done. So that is my fear shawl. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. Next episode, I should have like 400 finished objects because I have all these things that are like this close. So the first thing that I'm super excited about, because I just was working on it last night, is my Hearthstone sweater by Isolde Teague. I have talked about this basically in every single episode, so you already know all about it if you've been watching. But if you haven't, I am knitting a Hearthstone by Isolde Teague from the Tin Can Knits collection, Hard on My Sleeve. And I'm knitting it in this Juniper Moon Stargazer yarn, which is 70% llama and 30% silk, which you're probably going, that's not a good choice, but it feels amazing. And I know that it's going to be like this drapey sort of, it's not going to have a lot of shape to it. And I actually want that, I think. So I'm going to wear it over leggings and just sort of be my cozy up heart on my sleeve sweater. So the Hearthstone pattern, it's bottom up, and then you knit each sleeve, and then you attach the sleeves to the body, and then you knit the yoke. So Tin Can Knits came up with the pattern for the bottom and the sleeves, and then each designer added their own different yoke element. So I haven't knit a bottom up sweater before, so this was something new for me, and so far it's been great. Super easy, really simple pattern. Yeah, I am so excited that I finished my sleeve. So I sort of like socks. I was thinking I'm going to knit one sleeve and it's going to take me forever to do the other sleeve. So I just got out a really long cable on my needles and I knit 2 sleeves at a time, sort of like you do 2 socks at a time. And I use the exact same method as you would use for 2 socks at a time, but I just knit 2 sleeves at a time. And then they were super identical with their increases. Like everywhere I increased on one sleeve, I increased in the exact same place on the other sleeve, which, oh, this app, it's the camera. I have a new camera. I don't know why my computer is being a jerk. I'm so sad. Okay, hold on. Pause. Okay, so I'm just going back to this camera, this app, because I like it better. And if my camera is going to be skippy anyways, I may as well just use the recording that I like. So here I am, back over here, flipped around again probably. Sorry, bear with me. I will get this sorted out eventually. Anyways, so I knit 2 sleeves at a time, and I just finished them and got them put onto the body of the sweater, and I'm just slowly starting my decreases and my cabling up the raglan part. So here is the sweater. It's super heavy, which is going to be so cozy, and it's, yeah. And then I did this heart motif on each sleeve, and that might be just childish or something, but I don't even care. And yeah, so everything's attached here. It's hard to kind of show, but there's my little Lego man stitch guy that I've shown before. He's got kind of an angry face, which is funny. And these are my signature needles, 4mm, and they have been just a dream to work with. I absolutely love them. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. I'm pretty excited about it. And then the little red wine kind of purpley color balls were Estelle Baby Alpaca DK. So that's what I used for that. And this is my fancy signature Needle Arts case. So that's all in my llama bag because llamas. And I made this bag myself. I put old jeans on the bottom, and I had gotten this fabric, and my sweater is slowly growing out of it, but I think I'll be able to use it till the end. Another work in progress that's new that I told myself I wouldn't cast on anything new until I finished a bunch of things, but like I said, my niece's birthday is this weekend and winter is coming and she needs a hand knit. So this is the yarn I'm using. Gonna show it again later in I don't call it that, in Yarn Babies. And be happy, be so happy. I love it so much. This is a little flax worsted sweater. The yarn is Haven Fiber Arts, Eco Worsted, Organic Worsted, and the speckling and the variation in color in this could not be better. It is just turning out so cute. I have alternated skeins. I bought 3 skeins and I have been alternating them just a little, just in case one is maybe a little more speckled than the other or whatever, and that totally happens with indie dyed yarn. So and then I'm knitting in this little cable motif. I'll just do it like that. There we go, into the sleeve. So normally in the flax you have this garter stitch panel down the sleeve, and I just added a simple cable. C6B is the short version of it, so it's slip 3 onto the cable needle, hold it in the back, and then knit 3, and then knit the 3 off the cable needle, and then you do 3 rows of knitting after that, and then this exact same cable again, and that's the pattern you come up with. So I think it just adds an extra element of cute to a little toddler sweater, to have a little girl sweater, to have that little cable down the sleeve. And so ordinarily when you would do cables, I think you'd probably do reverse stockinette, so just purling every row, but I just stuck with the garter, and I like how it looks next to the cable. Almost looks like little stripes next to the cable or something. So I've been knitting this on my Knit Picks fixed 16-inch rainbow bamboo needles, and I've been using the matching Knit Picks cable needle, which is new, that I just got. And then right now I have the sleeves on a ChiaoGoo 9-inch needle, which makes sleeves so fast. I love these little 9-inch needles. They make me all kinds of happy. I'm not a huge fan of DPNs, so having that 9-inch option for sleeves is really nice. I quite like that a lot. And that's in my little flamingo bag that you've seen before. Again, made by me, wax canvas on the bottom, and I stitched a little flamingo on it, and it's got some sort of something on it. I'm a mess. Whatever. Deal with it. What else? The What the Fade. I've been working on the What the Fade, although it's been sitting for a good week now since I started that flax sweater and I got all excited about my Hearthstone sweater. But I finally finished the brioche section, which was exciting for me because that seemed to just be taking forever. So I'm really only on like clue 3 while everyone else is done. But here it is in all its prettiness. I don't want it to fall off the needles. I kind of have it scrunched up. My needles are not going to be big enough for it in its entirety. But that's one side of the brioche. There's the other side. I'm really happy with it, and I'm excited to see these garter stitch rows. I've just started that with my, this is Boss Lady, Samantha's sister. I'm excited to see that, those garter fades and stuff take shape. And I've seen other people's finished objects, and I'm really happy I did it, actually. I wasn't sure about the mystery part of it. Ordinarily, like, this was my first mystery knit along, and I wasn't sure that there's been other ones where I've been like, no, I don't know if I would like it or that kind of thing. And so, yeah, I just thought I would try it, and I'm glad I did. Gonna start and stop again. The next project I have to show is in my little Miss Sally Makes bag, and it's my sock blank socks, which don't have a ton of progress on them, so I'll just show them really quick. But you can find out all the information on them on that and my What the Fade, because all the yarns and everything that I used is in previous episodes, so just go find it, and previous show notes and stuff, so you can go find all that information there. This is a Boss Lady, which is my own hand-dyed yarn company, sock blank. Looks like this. Excuse me. And I'm doing 2 at a time, toe up, diagonal lace pattern by, I think, Wendy Johnson, ChiaoGoo 2.25 magic loop needles. Ta-da, ta-da. Kimberly's Night is the navy. It's the same navy that's in my shawl. As you can see, I really love that color. So those are the socks. That's my car knitting. That's in I keep that in my vehicle, and I knit on that every time I'm waiting for my kids, which seems to be often lately. I'm also working on another secret project that I mentioned last time, but I thought I'd show you this little yarn ball. I love this color. Anyways, you'll hopefully see that finished next week. Next week? Nope, next month. Although it might be done next week. You might see it on Instagram before. I was working on a little gradient dye project, so that's what that will be. There's something else I had to show you. Oh yeah, Rachel's faded sweater. So it's so close to being done. Look how close it is. So again, all the yarns and information is in other episodes and other show notes, but it's a flax sweater with the faded technique. My first time trying the fade, so some rookie mistakes, like I didn't do the math right, and the purple at the bottom doesn't have as much as the other colors do. And in reading the pattern, I accidentally started decreasing too early on this sleeve, so I still have to remove this sleeve and redo it. But now that Rachel's tried it on with the correct size sleeve, it looks way, way better. So I just need to put another few inches on the bottom of this sleeve, and then I'll be done that, and I will put my needles back in over here on the sleeve and knit through this sleeve. So this is like a must finish soon. I'm going to be getting on that soon. This is a Hedgehog Spring Fling Yarn Club yarn that I had. And I think that's it for works in progress. That's about all of those 4 or 5 projects have been on the needles for far too long and you've seen them 1,000 times. So I'm really trying to get them done so I can show you some new knitting content, because it seems like, I don't know, maybe I need to have a little bit more monogamy in my life. I'm not sure I'll ever be a one project at a time knitter, but I'm sure that I would get stuff done faster if I just did 2 projects instead of the million that I have going on. That was cold. Not good. So the next things I want to work on, once I get those things cast off, one of the first things I want to do is, if you remember a bunch of episodes ago, I did a test knit for Jenny Wiebe, a sweater called Warrior. It's a boy's like button-up old man style cardigan, and I knit this with some Barocco, maybe vintagey kind of yarn, and then a Woolen Boon DK for the little pops of color and the color around the cast off edge. But the shawl collar just didn't suit him. It's way too big. I think it looks kind of feminine the way it hangs around the back and stuff. So Jenny has another pattern that she gave me that has a normal collar in it. So what I'm hoping to do is rip out the collar and the button band, although I may not have to go, like you can see where it starts to increase along here. I may not have to go back and rip the entire button band right off, although that might be easier than trying to pick back up. Yeah, I'll probably rip the whole thing right out and then start over and make just a normal collar. And I want to get that done pretty quick because it's getting cold out and he's not going to fit this next year. So I really need to get it done so that he can wear it this winter. And I mean, I love these yarns so much, and this project did take me quite a while. So I want to make sure that he can wear it this winter. And he was so sweet and so excited about it when I made it for him. So he deserves to have his finished object. So as soon as I cast off a couple of these projects, that's going to be one thing I'm going to put on the needles right away. The other thing that I've been talking about a lot that I still haven't actually cast on, well actually no, that's a lie, I cast it on 2 or 3 times and then frogged it 2 or 3 times, was the sweater vest that I'm going to make for my father-in-law. So it's this Cascade Yarns, Cascade 220 Heathers, Colonial Blue, and I'm just going to make him a plain V-neck sweater vest. The pattern will be Schmidt by David Castillo. I was going to do his vest by Church Mouse Yarn and Tees, but then I realized it was a seamed project and I just wasn't going to get there. So, and I had the wrong yarn. I had worsted weight yarn when it calls for DK, and it just, go back and see the other episodes if you're not sure, but it was kind of a gong show. So after casting it on 2 or 3 times and frogging it, I just gave up and I thought I'm going to wait till I have some other things off the needles and then I'm going to cast this on and get her done. So that and Silas's sweater will be my big priorities. One thing I might do that I've had on the needles since, like, I don't even know, the beginning of 2017 is these rainbow socks. I used Knit Pick Stroll for the heel and cuff and toe eventually if I ever got to a toe. I really don't have very much of this sock left to do, so I need to do that. Or I was kind of thinking about frogging it. I don't know why, but I just don't really love the sock very much. I love the colors. I'm happy with it, but there's something in it that it just hasn't inspired me to work on it. So I think sometimes when you have projects like that you're just like, yeah, it's okay, I can take it or leave it, I think I'm just gonna frog it and start over. And I would like to make some of those Turkish bed socks, and I think I would wear that in this yarn. I think I would really like it in this yarn. This is Sea Turtle Fiber Arts Rainbow Bright, and it looks like this in a little messy cake. And yeah, it's a heavy fingering weight, and I think that maybe affected my stitch count a little bit more than I realized. So the sock is really quite wide, and I think it's going to be a little bit roomy on my foot, which I don't think I'm going to like very much in terms of fit. And yeah, like I said, I'm just not terribly inspired, and It's on 9-inch needles, and I just put stoppers on them because otherwise it's really slippery. It'll just fall right off. So that's something I might do, but that might be quite a while before I actually get around to that. It's like the mood just has to strike me. And I've been really feeling like sewing, and I've got a couple more embroidered bags that I have embroidered and cut out but not actually made, so I'd like to get those done. And yeah, so there's so many things to do in just so little time. Yarn babies. Let's talk about some new yarns that I got. Not a whole ton, but some things I'm really excited about anyways. The first thing I got is the Knit City kit for Knox Mountain Knit Company. So they did a collaboration with Gauge Dye Works, came up with this incredible, beautiful shawl pattern. It's a fingering weight yarn, and it's self-striping. This is not different yarns, it just does that. So I'm mirrored, so it's so hard. Okay, there we go. It's gorgeous. So the Sash on Willow sent me it, which, thank you ladies, I love you. Here is the Gauge yarn. It's called the Knox Fade, and it's got that gray, and then inside, let me see if I can, it's got all these blue colors and greens to the like chartreusey yellow. Oh, I cannot wait to cast this on. It won't be for a while because, like I said, I've got these other things that like need to get done, but as soon as those are done, I'm highly motivated. This is next in my queue. And then it also came, they did a little collaboration with Riv Creative, which is another BC, I'm pretty sure she's BC, maker, and she does some really awesome stitch markers and different accessory stuff like that. So it came with these. So the pattern's called Apex, as you saw. So she did sort of this triangle themed, and so she included some triangle shape stitch markers, and then a little mountainy progress keeper right there. Try to stop it there. You see it has a little mountain on it. She had also made necklaces with that mountain on it that you could buy there. I'm not sure if you can still get them. You'll have to check her out and see. And then also these earrings, these little triangle earrings, which are super, I love them. I love it so much. I cannot wait to make this. So, and the beautiful thing is like this Gauge yarn is just, it's MCN. So it's 70 superwash merino, 20 cashmere, and 10 nylon. So it's even softer than you could imagine, and it's 170 grams, so you get 599 yards out of that. So it's just one big giant skein that you just start with that green end and you knit down, and I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. So thank you so much for that again. The other new yarns that I got was that Bouquet. It's called Bouquet, the colorway by Haven Fiber Arts. She's going to be at the Shindig this weekend, so I'm excited to see her again. Her name's Jess, and she's local to me. She lives fairly close to me, not in the same city, but sort of in a city next to my city. So this is the skein of Bouquet in a cake. It's got all these little flecks of purple and kind of a greenish color there. And then the cranberry kind of, it's beautiful. I love it. And her yarn smells so good. Jess, what wool wash are you using? It smells amazing. I've been like knitting the project and sniffing it as I go. So as you can see, like no two skeins are ever alike. This one's a lot heavier speckled than the other one. So that's why it's important to alternate when you're using indie dyed yarn. We're not machines. We can't get it exact every time. So I picked that up from her last week, which was awesome. And I know I got something else. Oh, I went to Stash when we were in Calgary, and I bought a yarn for my hat make-along. Well, my winter wear make-along. I'm going to make a hat, and Stash is now carrying Woolen Boon, which is one of my all-time favorite indie dyers. So just look at the speckles in that, the different colors. So that's called Robin Sparkles. It's on Boon XL, which is the 3-ply bulky weight superwash merino, 100 grams. So that project is going to be in this awesome bag by Uli, Creations by Uli. And so she had gifted me that when she sent me this one for the giveaway. So that's where I'm going to keep that. And they even kind of match, I think. They look pretty good together. And I am going to do another Tin Can Knits pattern, the Northward. So it's just a simple cabled hat. I think I'm going to make it for me, but I might make it for Rachel or even for a Christmas present or something. I have not quite yet decided. So that'll be a cast on in the next week or so as well, as soon as I get a couple, like I said, a couple more projects off the needles, which I should be able to do like this week or so. I should be able to finish up Hearthstone, and I should be able to finish up that one that I didn't show you, but I showed you the yarn for, and the flax. And so if What the Fade is on the needles for a little while, I'm okay with that. And my socks, of course, they just go in the car. I don't care when they get done. They'll get done when they get done. So yeah. Oh, I forgot to show you in my fair this. This is what I had left. So I had made 1.5 skein for each color. And I had 20 grams left of the Kimberly's Night and 27 grams left of Nailtex File, which are these two colors. So maybe enough to make a little hat with the two of them. Maybe I'll do like a sagebrush or something, Knox Mountain. I could make like a different color. Yeah, I could totally do that. I could make a different color for I could do the ribbing in the navy and then the hat in the Nailtex File or something. Do a little contrast. I don't know. I'll figure out something. I'll find some hat maybe to make with the leftovers of that. And yeah, what else did I get? Oh, llamas. This was drawn and painted for me by my 9-year-old Silas. He knows my love of llamas, so he had made that for me in art at school. And Michael's right now has all the llamas, and I could not resist. So they have this little stationery set, which I think, I'm not a huge pink person, but I could not resist it. So I bought it, and I'm going to use it for a little Notions pouch for one of my project bags. It's nice because it's nice and flat, so it'll fit easily in the project bag. And I'll just take out the stationery stuff. And then they had these little lobster clasp things. So I think I'll use them probably. Actually, I haven't put it on yet, but I was intending to put one onto the zipper pull of this bag because they totally match. I don't know which one I'll add. Maybe the pink kind of pops off of the rest, but so I'll use that maybe as a zipper pull. They're just plastic, so they're super lightweight. I could totally use it as a progress keeper. It would just be kind of obnoxious and big. As you can see, it's like pretty big on my palm. So, but yeah. And then they had some tapes. A tube of llama tapes, and that one says just a little llama drama, and I'll do it later llama, which is basically my motto in life, procrastinator. And yeah, just a lot of, and glittery ones and gold. I like my gold, so that was fun. Yeah, so it's all meant for like making your own like planner, but because like this one says to do and stuff, so it's meant to be in your planner, but I'm using it for packaging orders and having fun and pretty happy llama stuff. So I got those. Oh, and Knox Mountain. I think I've shown these before because they've given to me before, but they had these awesome pins. My knitting is calling. I must go and knit and conquer, which was fun. I also had bought these cable needles. I don't remember what Knit Picks calls this color, rainbow bamboo wood. So it came in a set of 3. Today I could only find 2 because this seems to be my life. I lose things like crazy. And oh, I also got a 16-inch interchangeable needle. So we have a new yarn store in Edmonton called the Fiber Nook. So I had dropped by there because I needed a 4mm 16-inch needle for the flax baby sweater that I'm doing, or toddler sweater. So I picked up the Knitter's Pride Nova Platinum, and they're, I think, a 4-inch tip, and it's just an interchangeable 16-inch cable. And I need to say that I completely hate them. The tips are fine. What happens is when you knit them together, it like makes a grindy feeling and like a metal on metal, ooh, I just did it, rubbing. And so I'm knitting with it like the whole time. I can't stand them. Other metal needles don't do that. So I'm not sure what it is about this Platina lightweight chrome plating. Maybe it's the chrome plating that rubs together. I don't even know, but I don't like them. I don't think I'll use them again. If Knitter's Pride Nova Platinum are your deal, then sorry, but it's like nails on a chalkboard, that crunchy way that they rub together. Ugh, I don't like it at all. So that's fine. I bought them and they'll just go and live in my interchangeable needle thing. So now I feel like I'm in the market for a new interchangeable needle set that is the short tips, because I have my Knit Picks one and it's fine, and I would really rather have like a ChiaoGoo set. That would be like my ultimate wish list item that one day I'll splurge on and buy. But the Knit Picks one does the trick for now. But I want to get maybe the Licky, I don't know. No one knows how to pronounce that. That's a lie. People know how to pronounce that. I don't know how to pronounce that. So Lykke. You all know what I'm talking about. Maybe. They look like driftwood and they're gorgeous aesthetically, but they're also like a decent needle. They are about the same in sharpness as the Knit Picks bamboo tips, and I like them. They're fine with me, and I like the wood needles. I'm starting to actually really like wood needles. And I think, from what I understand, they are also interchangeable with Knit Picks. They have the same kind of, it's a black cable, but I think the like parts that join are the same. So it'd be kind of nice if I got it that I could use all the cables, I guess, between the two. And they have the nice short 3.5-inch tips, whereas a lot of the short tips are 4-inch tips. I still need to do a little bit more research to see because some of them measure differently. So for example, ChiaoGoo says that they have an 8-inch cable, and while they do, once you put the tips on, it's actually 16 inches. So whereas Lykke says it's a 16-inch cable, but I think they mean by the time you put your tips on, you're knitting with a 16-inch needle. So I need to just double check that and see, like, okay, is the 3.5 measurement from here to here, or is it to here, or whatever. So, but I think that's what I'm going to go with. I don't know if you have a suggestion of a favorite short tip interchangeable needle set. I would love to hear about it. Lastly, I'm going to show you all of the Boss Lady yarn things that I've been doing and talk about my dyeing business for a bit. So you can follow me at Boss Lady Yarn Co. on Gmail. What? On Instagram. That's my Gmail email address if you need to email me for some reason. I can't remember exactly what I showed last time or what I had going on last time, but I'll just show you a few different things that I'm excited about. So I just had a shop update. There's still a few of these things left in the shop, so head on over and check them out. I have a couple of new colors. One is called Ivy. And there she is on Like a Boss, which is my 75-25 merino nylon blend. It's a blend of like a sandy gray color and a mossy green, olive green, and then a teal. And there was a solid mossy green that went along with. That one's sold out, but I will eventually make more. It's like basically the same color as the label. So there's a couple left in that shop in different bases, left in the shop on those different bases. I also did a new mini kit. Last time I had a Penelope mini kit, and this time I have a Laura mini kit. So this is, I didn't put it in a bag or anything, but that's the tag. It's on the Like a Boss base. And let me put these yarns together. And here are the minis. So we've got Silver Hair, Don't Care, Soccer Jersey, Laura, Laura's Emerald, and then a new one that is just sort of a speckled version of Laura. So that's available. There's still a couple more of those kits left in the shop. I also have a DK suggestion for you. So we have Laura with Soccer Jersey and Laura's Emerald. Both complement really well. This could be a really lovely 3-color DK weight shawl. Laura is teal and emerald green with some teal speckles and then these pops of copper in there. So those are available in the shop still. That's on the Director's DK, which is the same base as my Fair shawl. It's 115 grams, 250 yards of superwash merino. And then I have another base that I can't remember if I mentioned last time, but I'm calling it Miss Independent, and it's a single ply fingering weight high twist yarn, and it is 100 grams and 400 yards. Here's Laura and Penelope on it. I love the like squiggly lines of the Miss Independent. I just love how it looks. There's still a few more, and then this is that new color that I mentioned in the giveaway, Autumn. There's Autumn on Miss Independent. So she's available. I don't know if it focuses. I have to hide my face. Anyways. And then I also did a Chelsea, which is becoming like a Boss Lady classic. It was one of our first colorways, and so I dyed up a few of Chelsea as well. Then there's a few new sock blanks. There's one that is similar colorings to Ivy. It's got that moss and the teal with a bit of the sandy gray color. Sock blank 1, and then here's another one. It reminds me of Alberta Sky. This one's called Sarah's Smile. The other one is called Sweet Jane. And then this one is Sarah's Smile. And it's got some kind of harvest yellow. The coloring is not showing up perfectly on this video, but you can see it perfectly in my Etsy shop. Boss Lady Yarn Co. on Etsy. Yeah, and then there's another one as well that I didn't bring up to show you. So there's lots of goodies to be had in the shop right now, and I'm about this week to dye up some Christmas colors. I had done a little survey on Instagram if you like traditional or non-traditional color, Christmas colors, so like red, green, silver gold kind of thing, or maybe something a little bit different color palette wise. If you have an opinion, you can tell me in the comments below too, if you prefer traditional Christmas colors or Christmas colors with a twist. Another thing I'm going to be working on is dyeing up some Christmas colors for an advent calendar with Prairie Dye Studios. So Melissa is going to be compiling some really cool kits for like a Christmas advent 25-day kind of surprise thing, and you'll get enough yarn to be able to knit a few things and patterns and stitch markers and even a little bag and things like that. So it'll be a really great project, and so there's going to be some Boss Lady yarn in that as well. And you'll get a bunch of minis, and I'm just looking up all the info she sent me. So far, Sea Turtle Fiber Arts, Allison Barnes, Ginger Snap That, and myself are doing it, and then there's a few others that are thinking about it and working on some other things, and maybe we'll also add in some stuff. Plus you'll get the Prairie Dye Studio stuff as well, and she's got some really neat little like sassy buttons and different things. So there's lots going on there, and it's kind of cool because it's all Alberta indie makers, and so there's lots of awesome stuff you can get here in Alberta. So it'll be released at the very beginning of November, and then orders will be closing on November 15th, and that way you can receive it by December 1st. And there's only going to be 6 of them available, so super limited quantity. So if you want one, you need to go to Prairie Dye Studio, follow her on Instagram at Prairie Dye Studio, and then they'll be made available on her website, so prairiedyestudio.com. Yeah, so that's going to be a really neat thing to get your hands on. I might be wanting one as well. And I think that's all. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and you can subscribe and give me a thumbs up and connect with me on Instagram and in my Ravelry group. And until next time, bye.
On your heart to feel freedom and to have a little faith, to put a smile on your face, to see a brighter day. You were made to fight and to fight for everything you want.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you guys doing? Great. My name is Allison McIver. I'm a touring percussionist, but more importantly, I teach with the Sarah McLaughlin School of Music up in Edmonton. It is an incredible music program. It's free from kids really young all the way to high school and beyond. We feed the kids right after school and try to inspire them in as many ways as possible. We're not a music academy training them to be professional performers. We're there to inspire them, help them think creatively, and create a safe space for these kids. One of our kids is here today. Her name is Rachel. She's 11 years old, and she came in like a spitfire. She was our first registrant for our junior high program. She's been playing piano for most of your life, and she is really eager to learn guitar as well. So welcome to the stage, Rachel Jamarski.
Hi everybody, I'm Rachel. I'm going to be playing a song that I just wrote called No More, and then I'm going to be playing Remedy by Adele. So hope you enjoy it. school talent show. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy it.